Coming up on Valley View News, Governor Gavin Newsom signed new education legislation here at CSUN. Plus, how excessive force by a school security guard killed a teenager. And the Orange County oil spill continues to harm seaside communities and wildlife.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Mary Peronian.
And I'm Catherine Hernandez in the Digital Media Center. Officials in Minnesota arrested 3 men after what police call a hellish shooting in St. Paul. The shooting sent people scrambling from a food hall just after midnight on Sunday. A barrage of bullets hit 15 people. One was a woman in her 20s who died. Injured people were found inside and outside of the buildings.
I crawled off the stage and so I could see a little bit, and then people were running out of there after the shooting stopped. And then I kind of got up to look, and that's when I saw there was like 4 or 5 people in the party that were down.
The 3 suspects are in the hospital being treated for their injuries. It's unclear if they were shot by police.
Governor Gavin Newsom visited the Cal State Northridge campus to sign a historic bill for California colleges and universities. Valley View's Jonathan Giovanazzi spoke with Newsom and student officials about the new legislation.
A college-style celebration at California State Northridge for the governor's signing of legislation to create the largest spending hike in California's higher education plan.
It's because we had an historic budget surplus this year.
The new legislation approves $47 billion for the CSU system, the UC system, and the 121 community colleges statewide. The legislation goes hand in hand with Newsom's $123 billion plan that provides free pre-kindergarten for all California 4-year-olds. The budget also calls for more teachers and lower class sizes.
We created a brand new grade, TK for all. And more importantly, perhaps, wasn't just the access, it's the quality. We're reducing the class sizes in half as part of our TK for All initiatives.
This is all paid for by California income taxes, taxes on the state's Wall Street investments, and the most wealthy. Newsom said student activism played a big role in fueling support for the bill.
We're excited to see higher education continue to be funded in the governor's budget. That, teachers aren't the last thing, or that education isn't what we're talking about when we're talking about budget cuts.
$4 billion will go toward increasing teacher salaries. $2 billion is for affordable student housing, and increased funding will create more associate's degree transfer programs to benefit future students.
Being told that, if you want to go to a CSU, you have to take these classes, which are separate than if you want to go to a UC. What they're going to be told is, here are the classes, take them, you get to the end, you transfer it.
Newsom signed 7 bills on the Northridge campus today. He says he'll sign dozens more when he gets back to Sacramento later this week. Reporting from the Cal State Northridge campus, I'm Jonathan Giovanazzi.
Last week, the Los Angeles City Council approved an ordinance requiring proof of a COVID-19 vaccination to enter restaurants, gyms, and other establishments. The ordinance takes effect November 6th. Mayor Eric Garcetti said he'll sign it. Some people are exempt from the mandate if they can't get vaccinated for medical or religious reasons. Some places like grocery stores are excluded from the law.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law Saturday banning gas-powered lawn equipment. Now gas-powered leaf blowers and lawn mowers can't be sold in the state because of the pollution they cause. Experts say the small engines produce more pollution than most passenger vehicles. The law also bans using small off-road engines like generators and pressure washers. It's a part of the governor's aggressive strategy to reduce air pollution. The California Air Resources Board will start enforcing the rule January 1st.
The Texas State Board of Pardons and Paroles voted to recommend a pardon of George Floyd. The application for pardon was filed in April. It would be for a 2004 drug conviction where Floyd possessed crack cocaine and gave drugs to a second suspect, who was never named. Texas Governor Greg Abbott must still approve the pardon.
The Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles just issued their decision. We go through our legal analysis next, and we'll let you know when we make a decision.
Floyd's arresting officer at the time, Gerald Goins, has since been indicted on 2 charges of felony murder and tampering with records in an unrelated case in 2019.
Friday, President Joe Biden proclaimed October 11th as Indigenous Peoples Day. More than 100 cities and a number of states have already replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. They're recognizing that Native people were already in the Americas before being displaced by Columbus and other European explorers. The White House press secretary Jen Psaki said the proclamation won't remove Columbus Day as a federal holiday.
Southwest Airlines canceled more than 1,800 flights last weekend. The world's largest low-cost carrier blamed the cancellations on air traffic control issues, bad weather, and limited staffing in Florida. The Federal Aviation Administration says there weren't air traffic-related cancellations since Friday. Still, the number of canceled flights continue to grow. Some flights on Monday were also canceled and delayed. Meanwhile, most other airlines aren't being affected. But American Airlines did cancel 66 flights and Spirit Airlines canceled 32. Some speculate that the staffing issues may be due to the airline imposing a vaccine mandate for employees last week. However, Southwest denied that.
After a school safety officer shot and killed Mona Rodriguez in Long Beach recently, some community members rallied for justice. Our reporter Celine Stevens was at a protest where people called for police-free schools.
And I hope that my sister gets the justice that she deserves.
Community members went to the Long Beach Unified School District Board meeting demanding that school safety officer Eddie Gonzalez face justice. Gonzalez shot and killed 18-year-old Mona Rodriguez near Millikan High School on September 27th. The incident reopened the debate about having armed police on school campuses.
We don't want to have students living in fear because there's somebody with a gun on campus.
Ivan Garcia was one of many who spoke at the board meeting. He thinks that armed school officers are unnecessary. Meanwhile, substitute teacher Kevin Yeager agrees with Garcia and has an idea for a solution.
The huge amount of money that goes into our school safety officers could be reinvested into counselors and other support services that would benefit our students more than having guns and weapons on campus.
However, during the gathering, an announcement came that the school board made a decision regarding Gonzalez.
Eddie F. Gonzalez has been fired.
Although the crowd cheered, some said they wanted more action. Community member Ijame Medal argues that police presence is rarely needed.
We don't need cops in school. We don't need cops in churches. We don't need cops anywhere, to be really honest. What are they doing?
However, others like Katie Clark, member of Long Beach Parents United, says she needs more information.
The loss of a life is always terrible, especially in this case as a young woman, but we need to wait. We need to wait and see the truth of the story.
The family of Rodriguez and the community will continue to fight for the arrest of Gonzalez, as well as continue to demand that Long Beach USD remove officers and all weapons from schools. Reporting from Long Beach for Valley View News, I'm Celine Stevens.
Active military members are running out of time to prove they're vaccinated for COVID-19. Navy and Marine Corps members have until November 28th. 90% of active duty sailors and 76% of active duty Marines are fully vaccinated. However, only 38% of Marine Corps reservists are vaccinated. Those reservists have until June 2022. The Air Force has 60,000 members who still need vaccinations before their November 2nd deadline.
The Biden administration said it's canceling more border wall contracts. Biden cut ties with all of the wall's contractors in the Laredo and Rio Grande Valley sectors. Many landowners fought to keep the wall off of their properties under the Trump administration. Now, all construction is shut down. One of the first actions President Biden took upon entering office was stopping wall construction.
Down in Orange County, the coastline is still being affected by last week's major oil spill. Reporter Milo Burris-Coulter explains.
Beach crews are still struggling to clean up the oil from last week's oil pipeline rupture off the coast of Huntington Beach. Diana Pena, Orange County Coastkeeper's deputy director, said several factors led to the current predicament.
There was a delay in actually notifying the officials, which then led to a delay in the investigation and led to a delay in notifying the public of this oil spill.
Most of the cleanup efforts are being done by the Coast Guard. Meanwhile, people are told to stay out of the water at Huntington, Newport, and Laguna beaches. The shorelines are closed off with signs and caution tape.
I mean, we got yelled at for just going down past the yellow line.
The cause of the oil spill is thought to be from a ship anchor puncturing a 13-inch split in the pipeline. So far, almost 150,000 gallons of crude oil have spewed into the Pacific.
Even if you can't see it, that doesn't mean that it hasn't already dissipated a bit and it's in the water. So it is highly toxic, and we definitely recommend staying safe.
At this point, it may be several weeks until things are somewhat back to normal. When that time comes, however, please use extreme caution and check the water quality before going to the beach or even planning on going in the water. Reporting from Huntington Beach, for Valley View News, I'm Milo Burris-Coulter.
More to come on Valley View News. Grocery stores may have limited supplies this holiday season, and although school is back in full swing, some students are still experiencing major differences in the classroom. We'll be right back.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Our anchor Margot Rowe has the latest in international news over in Studio B.
A 100-year-old man is accused of Nazi war crimes. The man is identified only as Joseph S. because of Germany's privacy laws. He was a former security guard of the Sachsenhausen concentration camp in Germany from 1936 to 1945. Thousands of prisoners died at the camp from mistreatment and medical experiments. The man is being accused of murder in 3,518 cases. The main government office investigating Nazi crimes says it's a race against time to bring the last surviving perpetrators to justice. The court has 22 trial dates scheduled so far. Last Saturday, demonstrators marched in Rome protesting Italy's Green Pass vaccination requirement for the workplace. Some protests turned violent. People barged into a union office and fought police. The Green Pass is not new in Italy. It's already required to get into most well-populated public places. The pass must show a person has taken a COVID-19 shot, recovered from the virus in the last 6 months, or has had a negative test in the last 48 hours. It became mandatory on October 15th. Those not complying risk facing fines. Tensions between Belarus and bordering countries are rising. European officials say Belarus is encouraging illegal border crossings in Poland. The number of people attempting to cross the border between Poland and Belarus hit a record high last week. Poland has now declared a state of emergency. So far, 736 people have tried crossing in a single day. About 16,000 attempts have been stopped since August. 5,000 of those took place in a month. At least 4 people died, apparently from hypothermia, as they tried crossing the border. Brazil hit an unsettling record. It passed 600,000 COVID-19 deaths. That's the second highest number of deaths in the world after the United States. Despite the record, there are signs that infection rates are slowing down, mainly because Brazil's vaccination rate is rising. More than 70% of people have received their first COVID-19 dose. Now that cases and deaths are falling, the country seems to have avoided the worst of the Delta variant. Singapore opened its borders to fully vaccinated travelers from Hong Kong, Macau, Brunei, and Germany. And soon it'll open up to fully vaccinated travelers from Canada, Denmark, France, and Italy. Also starting next week, they'll welcome visitors from the Netherlands, Spain, the UK, and the United States. The COVID cases in Singapore are relatively low. They've only had 116 confirmed cases and just 136 deaths. However, 80% of the adult population is vaccinated. That's a vital reason the virus stopped spreading. That's all for international news. Back to you, Mary.
Google said it'll stop running ads on YouTube that support climate change deniers. Many advertisers raised concerns about the climate-denying ads. Google said the ban covers ads and money made from content that contradicts evidence found to support climate change. This means YouTube creators who are climate change deniers won't be able to earn advertising dollars. The policy is intended to apply to content that is mainly referring to climate change as a hoax or scam. It'll also apply to claims denying that global warming is from greenhouse gas emissions and human activity. That is the first time Google has taken on climate misinformation content.
Humans are not the only ones who are negatively impacted by an unhealthy environment. Just a few weeks ago, the CSUN community was voicing their concerns about the several turtle deaths at the university's pond. Our reporter Elizabeth Medina was able to speak with officials about the issue and future improvements.
Some people in the CSUN community recently raised concerns about the horrible condition of the university's turtle and duck pond after a few turtles died. Jason Wong, CSUN's director of physical plant management, addressed those concerns.
I need to take responsibility for the pond in the condition that it was in. It should never have gotten to that point.
Wong says the poor condition the pond was once in is something the school is working to prevent in the future.
It's not how we want to represent the pond and how we want to, protect the animals that are here.
Wong says that right before the Labor Day holiday weekend, while doing some upgrades, one of the pumps stopped working. All is fine now. Nevertheless, some people in the community blamed the low water levels for the deaths of many of the turtles. CSUN biology professor Robert Espinoza says that although poor water can affect a turtle's health, the deaths have no concrete cause.
This particular turtle, the red-eared slider, is an invasive species. They can live in incredibly polluted waters.
The water levels are currently back to 90%, but both Wong and Espinoza say the real concern is people feeding the wildlife.
Please do not feed the animals. It causes problems. And please don't drop pets here.
Moving forward, Jason Wong says that a possible solution he's actively looking into is hiring 1 or 2 new employees to maintain the pond full-time. Reporting for Valley View News, I'm Elizabeth Medina.
Elon Musk says that Tesla is moving to Texas. The company's headquarters will move from Palo Alto, California to Austin, Texas. A massive car and battery manufacturing complex is being constructed there. Musk threatened to move the headquarters to Texas in the past. He was upset over the temporary closure of the Fremont factory due to COVID. However, he said Tesla isn't abandoning California. Tesla will increase its output in California and Nevada by 50%. He also said the Fremont factory has limited expansion possibilities and no surrounding affordable housing.
The country's biggest food distributors are warning grocery stores that they'll have limited supplies this holiday season. Items like Rice Krispies, Sour Patch Kids, and some Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavors won't be on the shelves in some stores. The popular Marie Callender's frozen pot pies will be even harder to find for the holidays. Staffing and supply shortages are what's causing the problem. Company executives say customers shouldn't expect the shelves to be stocked with limitless food like they used to be. Also, thousands of Kellogg's cereal factory workers recently went on strike. Prior to the strike, the company was already telling retailers to cancel promotions for snacks like Rice Krispies and Corn Pop cereal.
The Delta variant is hurting the U.S. economy by causing critical worker shortages. Following low employment rates, a meager 194,000 jobs were added to the U.S. economy. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the unemployment rate fell to 4.8%. Economists expected an increase of 500,000 jobs, with an unemployment rate of 5.1%. The shortage is creating trouble for the nation's economic growth. Nick Bunker of Indeed Hiring says he hopes the August numbers were a blip, but he said we must remember we're still in a pandemic.
Several requirements had to be met before schools could reopen in Los Angeles County. COVID testing and social distancing in classrooms are just a few of the mandates. Our reporter Malik Patterson explains.
Students returning back to physical learning in the fall was always in the works, but how would it be possible? Drastic measures were taken throughout the Los Angeles Unified School District to ensure a safe return for students. Grover Cleveland Charter High's assistant principal Damian Goodman said they had a plan of attack for the district and school.
The question came up, would we be able to accommodate all the students coming back? We started talking about, well, is it just the 9th graders, just the 10th graders? Maybe odd days and even days. We start talking about things like that.
As students returned, staff had to worry about social distancing and sanitizing the campus in order to prevent another outbreak.
The district provided resources that allowed the custodial staff to come and spray the classrooms a couple times a day.
Tamara Ferguson said online learning was problematic for her child.
some kids, they struggle with learning online. And some of them it's better for them to have one-on-one, teaching.
It takes more than a village to put the common goal of education as the key forefront so we can bring everything back to a sense of normalcy. Reporting from Northridge for Valley View News, I am Malik Patterson.
When we come back, there's talk about Netflix's show Squid Game becoming the #1 hit for horror show lovers. Also, an LA arts organization wants the community to help make a giant quilt. Stay with us.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Kanye West plans to open a prep school in Simi Valley. Sources say he'll name the institution Donna Academy after his late mother. The private school will be located between Simi Valley and Moore Park. He plans to include a basketball program. The website for the school is already accepting applications. Information on a precise opening date isn't certain yet.
The new Nintendo Switch game Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl has very good reviews. According to critic Alex Olney, it earns 8 out of 10 in terms of rating. Ludosity's CEO Joel Nystrom reveals that Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl is a passion project of his.
With 20 iconic Nickelodeon characters in a big brawl together, 2 to 4 players, online or locally.
The game features what is called a platform fighter, where you fight opponents and inflict damage. There are 20 characters to choose from. All-Star Brawl has been compared to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The gameplay is the real winner throughout, which is why it earned the ratings it did.
Squid Game's popularity is growing on Netflix. The South Korean television miniseries hit #1 among 90 streaming platforms. Famous South Korean actors Lee Jung-jae and Seong Ji-hun play the main characters. In the show, 456 contestants play dangerous games to win cash. The contestants are playing a traditional Korean children's game. They discover in the elimination rounds who dies.
Canadian pop star Justin Bieber has a new single out. The song, titled Ghost, talks about grieving a family member. In the music video, Bieber plays a grandson, caring for his grandmother. The grandmother is played by actress Diane Keaton. Designer clothing is worn by both in the video. The video also shows Bieber in a beach setting, scattering his grandfather's ashes with his grandmother.
A baseball photograph signed by legend Joe "Shoeless" Jackson broke records by selling for over $1 million. The signed photograph was sold by Christie & Hunt's auctions for $1,470,000. At first, it was estimated to sell between $200,000 and $400,000. The photograph shows Jackson at a practice in the spring of 1911. It's the only known authentic autographed photo of him in existence. Jackson was accused of being involved in the infamous conspiracy to throw the 1919 World Series game for financial gain. He and several teammates were banned permanently from the sport for the scandal.
Experts say that the demands on college athletes are high. Valley View reporter Paige Jones found that athletes at CSUN, the demands are so intense that it has led to some being pushed to quitting.
To successfully play a sport in college, countless years of hard work and commitment are required. However, in spite of such dedication, some student athletes still drop their sport while they're undergraduates, or even after college. Ex-player Talia Tafahasau says playing college ball began to negatively affect her mental health.
Basketball always used to be a place to escape, but then the older I got and the more I started playing at a higher level, the harder it got on me mentally.
CSUN men's basketball assistant coach Brandon Billups believes that collegiate athletes who quit sports just lose passion for playing.
They reach a point in their life where a lot of them, they kind of see the end of the road. Not everybody plays athletics forever.
As much as she misses being an athlete, Taufa Hassau says she doesn't regret quitting college basketball.
I miss it a lot. I miss being an athlete. I miss my teammates. I miss, as much as it sucked at the time, the early mornings. But I think overall I'm in a better headspace. So,
despite Taufa Hassau's decision to stop playing college basketball, she expresses she had a really good support system while being an athlete. She has now turned all her focus into graduating this spring and is in a happier state. Reporting from Northridge, I'm Paige Jones.
Popular TV chef Bobby Flay is saying farewell to Food Network. Flay worked for 27 years in the food industry as a businessman and chef. His exclusive 3-year contract with Discovery expires at the end of the year. Negotiations between Flay and the network are over. So far, sources say no one is commenting. Variety says there seems to be financial issues on both sides.
The $35 million Hollywood mansion of Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake is on the market. While the couple stays in Montana, the listing will be in the hands of realtors Justin Paul Hutchell and Drew Fenton. The 10-acre property is a Spanish-style mansion with 7 bedrooms and an additional guest house. In 2002, Timberlake purchased the property, which once belonged to the late actor Errol Flynn.
An LA arts organization is asking residents to contribute to a large-scale quilt project. Valley View News reporter Melody Soto has a story.
Stitch by stitch, visitors to Angels Gate Cultural Center created colorful fabric squares for the We Are Home massive quilt project. An undertaking by nonprofit Sola Contemporary founder Peggy Zask said the art initiative led to healing and unity despite the pandemic.
It gave people a link and interwoven, like literally together with others in the community.
During lockdown last year, social media users were asked to create and then mail in their representations of home. More than 130 blocks were attached and exhibited at the Lancaster Museum of Art and History this summer. Artist Linda Jo Russell said the growing quilt tells a collective story.
When it was hanging in that space, it had a spiritual aspect to it. It was just so beautiful.
After 2 scheduled exhibitions, the We Are Home project will conclude with an auction in December. Proceeds raised will be donated to organizations that aid the homeless. Pearl West, an avid quilter, said she was thrilled to lend a hand.
If this can help in any way, I'd be very, very happy.
Interested in participating in the We Are Home project? Email info@solacontemporary.org. Reporting from San Pedro for Valley View News, I'm Melody Soto.
Netflix has ordered a spin-off of the hit sitcom That 70s Show. The spin-off will be titled That 90s Show and will feature a couple of the original cast members and also be a multi-cam sitcom. The original series creators Bonnie and Terry Turner and their daughter Lindsay Turner will return as writers and executive producers of the show as well. The series will be set in 1995 and will focus on the daughter of Donna and Eric, who is visiting her grandparents. Netflix has ordered 10 episodes of the spinoff.
That's all for us here at Valley View News. I'm Catherine Hernandez.
And I'm Mary Pronian. For stories any time of day, go to our website, sundial.csun.edu. Thanks for watching.